Hello. I am out in the beautiful White Tank Mountains, and this is somewhere that we train a lot with the Shadow Ridge High School kids in the summer and during the season. We do a good amount of trail running out here. It's a great place to train if you've never trail ran before. It's a very unique and different experience. I give trail racers a heck of a lot of credit because it's just such a mentally difficult sport. And when we take the kids up here on the trails, it really pushes them to tap into that mental reserve and not just grow stronger physically, but grow stronger in the mind. And I love running up here because it challenges me too. I am more of a road runner. I like consistency. I like being able to go fast. And it's hard to do both of those things up here in the trails. So I'll come up here and do some runs just to get stronger, like I said, physically and mentally. And today I was running, this is Black Rock Loop. It's a little over a mile loop. We used to come up here and do repeats, but I was running this loop and kind of just, again, thinking, as I do often during my runs, thinking about, why we do this. Like, why do we put ourselves through the grueling misery of Black Rock Loop or any of these other trails out here? Why do we do this? Why do we keep coming back day after day if it only produces pain? And I want to, if you're an athlete, challenge you to think about that question, like what motivates you? And I think that a lot of people would have a variety of answers onto what motivates them. Is it winning? Is it impressing people? Is it to be the best on the team? Is it to get a personal record? Is it to get an American record? Is it why do you do your sport? Why do you do what you do? And then I think like a follow-up to that is what happens when that doesn't happen. So what happens when you don't win? What happens when you don't impress someone? What happens if someone beats you? What happens, how about this? What happens when you get injured? What happens when the reason that you're doing what you're doing does not turn out to be the outcome? And how do you handle that? And I think that kind of brings us back to that whole point of joy and why are we doing our sport? And if we are centering our motivation around earthly things, like a gold medal, like a personal record, like, however many followers you want to get on Instagram, if you're centering your motivation on earthly things, you're never going to feel joy and fulfillment from it. Never. It's never going to happen because there's always going to be a point in time where you're not going to win or you're not going to, get that personal record. And I think, it kind of goes back to that verse of like Philippians 4:13. It's probably the most common verse out there when it comes to training and athletes. And, you see athletes who have it tattooed. I think Tim Tebow had it on his face at one point. And I think a lot of people don't know the true context of that verse. They think, oh, I can do all things through Christ, right? I can achieve that goal because Christ is going to allow me to do that. I can win this race because Christ is going to allow me to do that. Let me turn around here. I can achieve great things because Christ has given me the body and the talent to do that. So when I do that, it's because of Christ. And that's kind of like taking the verse a little bit out of context, actually a lot out of context. If you go and you read that in Philippians and you read, the entire chapter, the entire book, you'll see that Paul's writing about contentment. And he's writing about I can do all things, not winning. I can literally be content and survive all circumstances through Christ. So he's talking about when you don't win. He's talking about when things fall short of your expectations. He's talking about when things are subpar. When whatever outcome it is, maybe it is the outcome you're reaching for. Maybe it's not the outcome you're reaching for. You will get through that circumstance because your joy and your motivation is not in the world. It's in Christ, and it's in Jesus and what he's done for you. And I think that as athletes, we need to continually go back to, what is my why? What is my why? Why do I do what I do? Do I do it for earthly reasons? Or do I do it because God has given you the ability to do this and you're doing it for his glory, and no matter the outcome, it's going to be awesome. So just food for thought for today on what's your why and motivation.